28, Elias had just finalized a deal that made him the youngest majority owner of a luxury hotel group in Manhattan. He wasn't there for a grand entrance. He wanted to see how his new acquisition operated from the ground up. The encounter. Karen, a senior receptionist who prided herself on gatekeeping the hotel's prestige, looked up from her computer. Her eyes swept over Elias with immediate, visible disdain. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice dripping with artificial politeness that didn't reach her eyes. "I'd like to speak with the manager on duty," Elias said calmly. "I'm here for a walkthrough." Karen let out a sharp, mocking laugh. "A walkthrough? The delivery entrance is around the corner, and I'm sure whatever merchandise you're bringing in isn't needed right now. Besides, people of your aesthetic don't really fit the guest profile here. You're lost." The ignored warning. A junior clerk named Maya, who had seen the internal memo featuring Elias's photo just an hour prior, rushed over. Her face was pale with panic. "Karen, wait," Maya whispered, tugging at her sleeve. "You need to see the internal update. The acquisition went through this morning." "That's..." Karen shoved Maya's hand away without looking at her. "Not now, Maya. I'm busy maintaining standards. Sir, if you don't leave immediately, I will have security escort you out for loitering." Elias didn't move. He simply leaned against the counter, checked his watch, and pulled a slim, titanium keycard from his pocket, the master key provided by the board of directors. The revelation. "You should have listened to her," Elias said quietly. At that moment, the elevator doors opened and the general manager, Mr. Henderson, sprinted across the lobby, sweating profusely. He stopped in front of Elias and bowed slightly. "Mr. Thorne, I am so sorry, I was tied up in the penthouse." "Welcome to your hotel, sir." The color drained from Karen's face instantly. The sneer she had been wearing collapsed into a mask of pure terror. She looked from the general manager to the young man she had just insulted, then down at the master keycard on the desk. The aftermath. Karen's knees buckled. "Mr. Thorne, I didn't realize. I thought you were. I was just following protocol." She stammered, tears beginning to stream down her face. She reached out across the desk, her hands shaking. "Please, I have a mortgage, I've been here 10 years. I'm so sorry." Elias looked at Maya, who was standing quietly to the side. "Maya, right?" Elias asked. "Yes, sir," she replied. "You knew who I was, and you tried to stop a colleague from making a mistake." "That shows awareness and integrity," Elias said. He then turned his gaze back to Karen, his expression unreadable but firm. "You told me my type doesn't come here," Elias said. "You were right about one thing. The type of person who treats others with that kind of prejudice no longer works here. Mr. Henderson, please see to it that Maya is briefed on the assistant manager's responsibilities. And ensure this desk is vacated immediately." As security arrived to lead a sobbing Karen toward the back offices, Elias turned to the rest of the staff. "Let's start the walkthrough. I want to see a hotel where everyone is treated like they own the place." The acquisition of a landmark New York City hotel like the Grand Meridian usually implies a story of hidden decay behind a glamorous facade. When Elias Thorne moved to purchase the property, the due diligence reports revealed a business teetering on the edge of a financial cliff. Here's why the hotel was sold and the drastic measures the board of directors advised Elias to take to prevent total bankruptcy. Why the hotel was sold. The previous ownership group, a legacy conglomerate, had allowed the hotel to become a zombie asset, an entity that generates just enough cash to pay interest on its debts but nothing more. The primary reasons for the sale included deferred maintenance crisis. To keep dividends high for shareholders, the previous owners ignored structural and technological upgrades for over a decade. The cost of bringing the building up to modern safety and luxury standards had become greater than the hotel's annual profit. Operational bloat. The hotel was suffering from middle management creep. While frontline staff were underpaid, there were dozens of redundant executive roles that drained the payroll without improving the guest experience. Reputational decline. In the digital age, a 5-star rating is maintained by online reviews. The hotel had developed a reputation for being stuck in the past, and, as seen with Karen, having an elitist, unwelcoming atmosphere that alienated the new generation of high-net-worth travelers. The "save the hotel" strategy. During the final negotiations, the outgoing board and Elias's financial advisors presented him with a brutal roadmap to save the business from insolvency. They told him he had exactly 6 months to implement the following. 1. Radical cost restructuring. The board advised Elias to immediately slash the workforce by 30%. They suggested cutting non-essential guest amenities, like 24-hour room service and the luxury car fleet, to prioritize debt servicing. 2. Digital transformation. The hotel was still using paper-based booking systems for many internal functions. Elias was told he needed to integrate a proprietary AI-driven property management system (PMS) to optimize room pricing in real time, ensuring the hotel stayed at 90% occupancy even during off-peak seasons. 3. Rebranding the vibe. To avoid bankruptcy, the hotel needed to pivot away from old money, exclusivity and toward new tech, luxury. The advisors told Elias to convert the underutilized ballroom into a high-end co-working space and networking hub. Fire staff members who refused to adapt to a more inclusive, modern service model. Market the hotel as a smart building to attract Silicon Valley executives and international entrepreneurs. 4. Injection of personal liquidity. Finally, the board was blunt. The hotel could not be saved by revenue alone. They told Elias he would need to inject at least $50 million of his own capital immediately to settle outstanding high-interest loans and avoid a foreclosure trigger by the banks. The mogul's perspective, greater than while the board focused on the numbers, Elias saw the Karen incident as a symptom of the real problem. He realized that saving the hotel from bankruptcy wouldn't just require money and tech. It required a total culture transplant to make the Grand Meridian relevant to a modern, diverse world. For a high-stakes asset like the Grand Meridian, a total turnaround isn't just about fixing the plumbing or firing a rude employee. It is a holistic restructuring of the business DNA. To move from the brink of bankruptcy to a 5-star industry leader, Elias must execute a 4-pillar transformation strategy. 1. Operational turnaround, the efficiency engine. The goal here is to stop the bleeding and optimize the daily mechanics of the hotel. Supply chain overhaul. Elias should leverage his tech background to implement a just-in-time JIT inventory system. By using predictive analytics to forecast occupancy, the hotel can reduce food waste and luxury amenity overhead by up to 20%. Energy management systems (EMS). High-end NYC real estate faces massive utility costs. Installing AI-controlled HVAC and lighting systems that adjust based on room occupancy can slash energy expenditure, which is often a hotel's second largest operating cost after labor. Ancillary revenue optimization. Turning dead spaces like the lobby corners or underused meeting rooms into high-revenue zones. This includes high-end pop-up retail, work-from-hotel, day passes, and curated evening events that draw in locals, not just guests. 2. Infrastructural turnaround, the physical rebirth. A luxury hotel is a physical product. If the hardware feels dated, the software service can't save it. The invisible infrastructure. Before the gold leaf and marble, Elias must address the back-of-house decay. This means upgrading the high-speed fiber optic backbone essential for tech mogul guests and replacing aging boiler and elevator systems that lead to guest complaints. Aesthetic modernization. Moving away from the cluttered gold of the 90s toward biophilic design, integrating natural light, greenery, and sustainable materials. This appeals to the modern billionaire demographic which values wellness and quiet luxury over gaudy displays of wealth. Smart room integration. Every room should function as a seamless extension of the guest's ecosystem. Keyless entry via smartphone, voice-controlled environments, lighting, temperature, curtains, and ultra-secure, encrypted Wi-Fi networks. 3. Service turnaround, the human element. The Karen incident highlighted a toxic culture of exclusion. This requires a total service DNA rewrite. From gatekeeping to anticipatory service, staff must be trained to look for ways to say yes, rather than finding reasons to say no. This involves empowerment training, where every employee has a small daily budget, e.g., $200 to solve a guest's problem on the spot without seeking managerial approval. Radical inclusivity. formalizing a culture where luxury is defined by the quality of the experience, not the pedigree of the guest. This includes diversity, equity, and inclusion day training that is baked into the standard operating procedures, not just a one-time seminar. Hyper-personalization, using a guest experience CRM. If a guest mentions they like a specific type of sparkling water, it should be in their room before they even check in on their next visit. 4. Managerial turnaround, the leadership shift. A hotel's culture is a shadow of its leadership. Elias must flatten the hierarchy. Flattening the org chart, removing the layers of middle management that act as filters between the frontline staff and the ownership. This speeds up decision making and ensures that the person cleaning the rooms feels a direct connection to the owner's vision. Performance-based incentives, moving away from flat salaries for managers. Their bonuses should be tied directly to 3 metrics: Net Promoter Score (NPS), guest satisfaction, employee retention rate, and GOPPAR, gross operating profit per available room. The founder's presence, much like his first day, Elias needs to maintain a boots on the ground approach. When the owner is visible and approachable, the staff's accountability skyrockets. The goal? The Veblen effect 2.0. By combining these 4 pillars, the hotel moves from being a struggling commodity to a Veblen good, a product where the desire for it increases as its prestige grows. The bankruptcy is averted not just by cutting costs, but by creating a product so superior that the market allows for a significantly higher average daily rate, ADR. As a technical expert and billionaire mogul, Elias wouldn't just buy off-the-shelf software. He would implement a bespoke, integrated tech ecosystem designed to act as the central nervous system of the Grand Meridian. His goal is observability, the ability to understand the internal state of the hotel by looking at external data. Here is the specific breakdown of the technology stack Elias would use to monitor improvements and detect future lapses. 1. The data foundation, unified data lake. Traditional hotels suffer from data silos. The front desk doesn't know what the kitchen is doing. Elias would unify all inputs into a single source of truth. Technology, Snowflake or Google BigQuery. Function, this stores every event in the hotel, from a light bulb burning out to a guest checking in. Operational monitoring, by aggregating data from the point of sale POS property management system PMS and IoT sensors, Elias can run complex queries to see if service speed correlates with staffing levels in real time. 2. Infrastructure and IoT, the digital twin. To track physical lapses like a broken elevator or a room that isn't cooling properly before a guest complains, Elias would implement a digital twin. Technology, Azure Digital Twins or AWS IoT Twin Maker. Function, a 3D virtual model of the hotel synced with thousands of MQTT-enabled sensors. Lapse detection, if the vibration sensors on elevator B exceed a certain threshold indicating a mechanical lapse, an automated ticket is generated for maintenance. If a room's humidity rises, it flags a potential plumbing leak. Energy tracking, real-time monitoring of the grid to identify energy vampires, areas where power is being wasted despite zero occupancy. 3. The service layer, stack, AI-driven CRM. To prevent Karen-style lapses, the human element must be monitored via sentiment and behavioral data. Technology, Salesforce Industries Hospitality integrated with Gainsight. Sentiment analysis, Elias would use natural language processing NLP like OpenAI Whisper or Google Cloud Natural Language to analyze guest feedback across Yelp, Google, and internal post-stay surveys. The bias trigger, Elias could program an anomaly detection algorithm. If a specific staff member consistently receives lower satisfaction scores from a specific demographic of guests, the system flags a cultural alignment audit for hour. This prevents microaggressions from going unnoticed. 4. Managerial observability, real-time dashboards. Elias doesn't want to wait for a monthly report. He needs a war room view of the hotel's health. Technology, Tableau or Grafana, usually used for server monitoring, but repurposed for the hotel. Key performance indicators KPIs tracked. RevPAR, revenue per available room, real-time pricing fluctuations. TTR, time to resolution, how long it takes from a guest request, e.g., I need extra towels, to fulfillment. Employee NPS, anonymous, real-time, pulse, surveys of staff morale to prevent burnout and turnover. 5. Security and privacy, the Fortress Stack. Given his high-profile status and the status of his guests, the network must be impenetrable. Technology, Palo Alto Network's next general firewalls and CrowdStrike for endpoint protection. Guest privacy, a decentralized identity DID system for guest check-in, allowing VIPs to enter the hotel and their rooms using encrypted biometric tokens on their phones, bypassing the front desk and potential bias entirely. 6. Detecting future lapses, predictive maintenance (ML). Instead of reacting to problems, Elias uses machine learning (ML) to predict them. Technology, TensorFlow or PyTorch models running on the data lake. The early warning system, the model analyzes historical data to predict when the hotel is likely to fail. Example, if the model notices that TTR, time to resolution, is slowing down on Friday nights, it can automatically suggest increasing the housekeeping staff for that shift 2 weeks in advance. Example, it can predict when the HVAC system in the West Wing is likely to fail based on weather patterns and current wear and tear, allowing for repairs before a guest even notices a temperature shift. The Mogul's Override. Elias would likely have a custom-built mobile app, let's call it Meridian Prime, that gives him a God view of the property. If a Karen incident occurs, or if the service sentiment drops below a 4.5, 5.0 in any 1 hour window, his phone vibrates with a high priority alert. This tech stack transforms the hotel from a passive building into an active, learning organism that self-corrects before human error can cause permanent damage. To transform the Grand Meridian from a bankrupt, culturally toxic, zombie asset, into a global leader in high-tech luxury, Elias Thorne must implement a 5-year strategic velocity plan. This plan isn't just about survival, it's about redefining the category of hospitality. Year 1, the foundation and cultural debridement. Focus, stopping the financial bleed and resetting the human standard. Quarter 1, complete the middle management purge. Replace legacy gatekeepers with tech-forward leaders. Install the basic data lake and IoT sensors. Quarter 2, the invisible renovation. While the hotel remains open, crews work floor by floor to install fiber optics and smart room hardware behind the walls. Quarter 3, launch Meridian University. This is the intensive training program where staff like Maya are fast-tracked into leadership using the AR and gamified systems previously discussed. Quarter 4, market pivot. The hotel officially drops the old money branding. Elias hosts a massive Tech for Good summit at the hotel to signal the new era to the world. Year 2, the digital twin integration. Focus, operational efficiency and predictive performance. Implementation, the digital twin goes fully live. The building now talks to the staff. The AI concierge, launch of an AI-driven guest interface that handles 80% of routine requests, towels, bookings, room service with 0% friction, allowing human staff to focus only on high-value, emotional interactions. Sustainability milestone. The hotel achieves net zero operational status, optimized energy grids, attracting a new wave of eco-conscious billionaire travelers. Financial goal, achieve break-even. The $50 million injection from year 1 has stabilized the debt, and the new ADR average daily rate begins to cover all operating costs. Year 3, ecosystem expansion and the Meridian Club. Focus, building a community, not just a guest list. The membership model. Elias launches an exclusive, blockchain-verified membership program. Holders get guaranteed room availability, access to the Founders Company working penthouse, and private networking events. Ancillary growth. The hotel's ground floor becomes a tech incubator hub. The revenue from day passes for local entrepreneurs rivals the revenue from room stays. Predictive service maturity. The ML models are now so accurate they can predict a guest's needs before the guest realizes them, e.g., the system knows a guest's flight was delayed and automatically pre-orders their favorite late-night meal to their room. Year 4, global scaling and intellectual property IP. Focus, turning the hotel's operating system into a product. Software as a service SaaS. Elias realizes the tech stack he built for the Grand Meridian is better than anything on the market. He begins licensing the Meridian OS to other luxury boutique hotels globally. Total infrastructure refresh. Using the profits from years 2 and 3, Elias performs a high-design aesthetic overhaul, commissioning world-renowned artists to integrate digital art installations into the lobby. Financial result. The hotel moves into high profitability, the debt is 60% retired, and the asset value has tripled since the acquisition. Year 5. The new standard and final results. Focus. Legacy and market dominance. The resulting asset, the Grand Meridian, is now ranked the #1 hotel in the world by multiple industry bodies. Operational excellence. Employee turnover is at a historic low, under 5%, as the staff are the highest paid and best trained in the industry. The exit or hold. Elias has a choice. He can sell the hotel for 10x his initial investment or keep it as the flagship for a global chain of Meridian properties. The 5-year results table. The takeover year 5. The result. Occupancy rate, 45%, struggling, 94% optimized. Staff culture toxic, exclusionary, inclusive, tech empowered. Average daily rate ADR, $450, $1,250. Operational costs. Massive waste, debt, lean, AI optimized. Guest demographic aging, declining, global innovators, Gen Z wealth. The ultimate outcome, the Maya effect. 5 years later, the Karen incident is a distant legend used in orientation as a what not to do. Maya, who was a junior clerk on day 1, is now the new general manager of the entire property. She oversees a building that functions like a high-performance computer but feels like a warm, welcoming home. Elias Thorne has not only saved a building from bankruptcy, he has proven that empathy and technology, when combined correctly, create an unbeatable business model. The hotel is no longer just a place to sleep, it is the beating heart of New York's new elite.